have any
Like
security
I just
role.
slowed it down,
That's
and
been
I
suggested by Netanyahu's government.
couldn't keep up with his irregular
They'll have a permanent
moves,
security role
man.
in Gaza with U.S. help. That seems insane.
I mean, that's
insane.
It's crazy. And what I meant to say
It's
before,
bad for America.
700,000 settlers are in the West Bank right now.
Can't
They're
break
illegally
1900.
squatting.
Just
Yeah.
a complete
700,000. They need
mental
to be,
block
they
at
need to be-
19.
Right.
But
Even though I was
the
winning,
U.S.
obviously, there.
won't even do what Israel's doing because they are so worried about tarnishing their credibility. Like,
Right.
it's crazy what Israel's doing. I have to stress that again. Like, targeting all of the
Why
most
are they
important
targeting
factors of civic
if
society.
this is the case where they're targeting civilians, and people in Israel are going to go, that's not true. We're not. It's collateral damage. But it does seem that there's so many civilians dying that it's harder to buy the collateral damage argument when so many civilians are dying.
Well, look at the
Right.
again. Like, look at the rhetoric of Israeli politicians. They're not denying that they are targeting civilians. They call Israeli defense ministers said we're gonna completely tighten the siege because they are human animals and we need to act accordingly.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
Flatten Gaza. You look at tons of Knesset members, dozens of Israeli officials have said explicitly they are subhuman.
Yeah.
We need to annihilate Gaza. If that's not targeting civilians, what the hell are we talking about
No,
here?
yeah, that's crazy.
And here's why they're doing it. Because it's not just uniquely evil, right? It's not just
Right.
indiscriminate it's not just like inexplicable barbarism. It is strategic to target all sectors of civil society so you can terrorize the population. This is what happened during the Nakba during 1948 is that you terrorize enough of the population so that the rest of them flee.
And that was when 700,000 Palestinians
Were expelled.
Including, I saw you talk to Alana Hadid, Gigi Hadid's sister, and I think their family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
right.
Palestinian that you know around has a story and has a shared
where
history
are
of
we?
being ethnically cleansed from that region. And Mia Khalifa, too. I just spoke to her, and she's
Right.
Lebanese. She grew up during Israeli occupation. And so they are targeting all of the most important sectors of civic society. So all the press offices.
Do you think
all the
Jews have a claim to
journalists.
that land? You know, for example, I have Jewish friends that say we were there first. I mean, when I talk
What
about
does that mean?
Supposedly scientists have found bone fragments that are Jewish people. Like, literally, this is what is put out. They go, we've been there for thousands of years. We were there from the dawn of time. We have a claim to that.
It's actually problematic
Do they
for
have
me.
a legitimate claim? That's the question, right? Because Palestinians were there, so they clearly have a claim. And a lot of people say that Jewish people were there for 400 years, 500, they were there for a very long time. Do the Jewish people, in your estimation, and again, I mean, to say I've not looked into this would be the understatement of the year. Although I've read a little bit about it, but I'm not an expert on this at all. Other than to say that, like, there's been a lot of stuff put forward saying that Jewish people have been there a long time and that they have some claim to that land, and that they were kicked
That
out of
looks
all of these
problematic
countries. And
for
they
ya,
were
buddy.
ran all over the world because of
That
anti-Semitism,
looks like a
this,
win.
that, and the other thing. And they wanted a state after the Holocaust. And then they were like, it was natural for us to return to this place that we had been since the biblical times.
I mean, I don't believe in the Bible, so I would say religious fundamentalism doesn't play into my analysis of, like,
Oh my.
Right.
geopolitics.
Check.
But I
Right.
mean,
This is the claim.
This is the claim.
That's the claim.
I mean, it's a ludicrous claim to look at ancient prophecy and say we have the right to ethnically cleanse indigenous people. Does Israel have the right to exist on top of another people's land and exist by ethnically cleansing an indigenous population by violent, bloody conquest day to day? No.
Right.
But you mentioned something that I just want to finish my point because it's really important. Why are they targeting all of these civilian infrastructures in Gaza? Because they want to make life impossible to return, Tim. It's not just about like terrorizing the population to flee. It's to make it impossible to come back because there's nothing left.
Right.
There are no schools, no mosques, no hospitals. The hospitals, to actually have a war on health facilities like that and targeting and not just